بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله ونعمده ونستعين ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتدي وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله بسم الله لا يندو مع اسم شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء والسماء الحليم. Now, what I'm about to discuss today, is all about women. Well, we can say, the duties of a woman in a marriage. When you're talking about duty of a woman in a marriage, it's categorized in three places. Duty of a woman in taking care of her husband, then duty of a woman taking care of home, generally, and duty of a woman in taking care of the children. Because we can never talk about the duty of a woman without talking about how to take care of our husband, how to take care of the home, and how to take care of the kids. When we're talking about the roles or duty of a woman, it is very across the culture or society, and times in a period of being a woman, it is important to emphasize that the roles and the duty of a woman are not fixed or universally applicable. When we are talking about the duty of a woman as a wife, women need to be specialized in some cases. Firstly, she has to be a doctor in the house. She has to be a teacher in the house. She has to be a nurse in the house. She has to be a guidance. She has to be a counselor and a prayer warrior. As it is, tí a bá fẹ́ sọ nípa pé kí ni ipa tó yẹ kí obìnrin máa kó nínú ilé, we can talk about it in different way, because family and household are all based on the woman, on a good woman. Because women have often been assigned as a primary responsibility for the care and upbringing of the children. Obìnrin jẹ́ nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé àwọn ni wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ di inú ilé mú for the upbringing of the kids, taking care of the house, and taking care of the father. Simply because women, as it is, they are having a role play, a lead play in the family. Because that is why I always say kudos to women, those active women. I always encourage any woman that is so active, and I always cherish them when they are so active in everything, in all the ramifications. Because the roles of a woman in a household can never be rolled away. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever that have not getting married have never completed his sunnah. Ẹnikẹ́ni tí ò bá ti ṣe kíni, tí ò bá ti fẹ́yàwó, kò tí ì ṣe sunnah ní Ànábì sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Torí pé èyí tó easy láti ṣe jù náà ni kéèyàn fẹ́yàwó. Èyí tó sì burú jù láyé òun náà ni kéèyàn tó fẹ́yàwó. Why tó ṣe easy ni pé someone can just be going outside and see a woman and tell her, I really love you, I want to marry you, and get married. And the difficult part of it is the way it is easy for you to see someone and approach her and talk to her and she accepted you, the difficult part of it is, do you know the kind of woman you talk to? Do you know what qualities she have? Do you know what manners she have? Do you know either she's so active or not? All you see is that, I want to marry, and you see someone beautiful and you talk to her and she accepted you and you decided to engage with her and you married her. Unlike someone that gained admission today and they give him the certificate, what he hasn't learned about, what he hasn't knew anything about. And compared to someone that has spent like 4 years or 5 years in a university after gaining the certificate. If you ask the experience, what the person that acquired the certificate has gone through before he got the certificate, he will tell you, I see shege before I could acquire this certificate. But someone that have never been into university, that just gained admission and they just give him the certificate, he will say, it is very, very easy to study this course, because he hasn't studied it, he just acquired it. I think you understand what I mean? To acquired is different from to study. You know, when you acquire something without studying, that will be a bit easy for you. It's important to note that those rules and duties are not limited to women and can be shared or taken by an individual of any gender. The way it is for a woman, men also need to know about all these things as well. We are still coming about the duties of a man, okay, but we are talking about duty of a woman. So a woman have to be doctor, someone that can just put your palms on your kid's forehead and discover she is having headache, he is having headache. You will know what to do for her, what to do before. That is first aid before taking off. Maybe if it is out of your hand, then you can now take it to hospital. Then you have to be a teacher to teach them how to do this, how to do that. When you wake up, you don't leave all the plates, all the dishes where you left it yesterday. You have to immediately, when you're waking up from your bed, you take it to the kitchen, you sweep the floor, you arrange things. You have to make sure kids to understand that is a normal routine for every day. You don't leave everything where you left them since last night to today until next tomorrow. No, you have to be sure that everything is in place. That is as a teacher. Then as a guidance, you have to make sure you guide them in their education, in their life career, in everything. You make sure they always listen to you, and make sure you let them know that they have to listen to their parents, they have to listen to their teachers, they have to know what is normal in their life. Then they have to be a counselor. For a woman to be a counselor is very, very important. You have to let male child to know what is very, very important from the female child. You have to let the female child know that nobody should touch any of your private parts. Nobody should, for a mistakenly or plainly, touching your private parts. Because some people will say, I'm playing with you, he'll be trying to harass you, and you'll be thinking he's still playing, and he's not playing, he's trying to harass you. You have to be sure, you have to let them sure of where not to touch in their body and how to look after themselves. As a female, you have to let them know that when you're going out, you need to wear a tight, you need to wear a trouser, you need to wear this under before you wear anything. You have to make sure they know where to be opened and where not to be opened. Unlike Mike Tyson, when one of his daughter visited him with half naked, he make him sit beside him. Ó dẹ̀ sọ fún Jọ́nà yìí pé ìwọ ọmọ mi, irú aṣọ tó wọ̀ yìí mo rí pé ó rẹwà púpọ̀, ṣùgbọ́n màá wá kọ́ ẹ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kan lónìí. All the valuable things in this life, it is always hiding. All the valuable things in this life is always hiding. Unlike when you're talking about gold, you have to dig deep in the mountain before you can find gold. Before you can find silvers or some other valuable mineral resources, you have to dig under the rivers before you can find them. Why God singled them in that such a place that is so highly? Because they are valuable. You shouldn't get them just so easily. If you get them so easily, you wouldn't know their value. That is why women private is very, very valuable. You must always hide it, not to just open it and let everybody just have access to it. And the daughter was so happy, and she was happy for such advice from her dad. That is how you should be able to talk to your daughter with good manner. Then any woman that doesn't have a manner, how is she going to talk to her daughter with good manner? So that is it about that. Then you have to be a prayer warrior. You cannot be someone that you wake up in the morning to pray and you left all your kids sleeping, and you still praying and you still go back to your bed. When you're waking up for prayer, you have to make sure you wake all your kids and let them know that prayer is all what we need after all our efforts in everything we are doing in our life. You shouldn't leave your effort and concentrate in prayer, and you shouldn't leave your prayer concentrate on your efforts. You have to do both, vice versa. That is how you're going to make it in life. You have to make sure, as a good woman, as a good wife, as a good mother, because a good daughter will become a good wife will become a good mother. So how is it going to be rotating to be a good mother? If you are not a good daughter, you can never be a good wife. If you are not a good wife, you can never be a good mother. So before you can be a good mother, you have to be a good wife. That is duty of a woman. In taking care of your husband, you have to be very, very conscious of taking care of your husband. That means cooking for your husband is one of your duty, where some women have taken it so with levity hand, where some women have thought maybe the husband also have a responsibility of cooking or whatsoever. That is rubbish. That is insane. You have to always, no matter how tired you are, either you limit your work to concentrate with taking care of your husband, your wife, your house. Your work shouldn't be the reason why you will not be able to take care of your house. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, women, if they decide not to work, they may not work. The house chore, taking care of the house, taking care of the husband, taking care of the kids is work itself. But due to the reason that woman want is unlimited, we both have to work. But you shouldn't let the work affect the house duties. Talking about is not the one you go to study in institution or tertiary institution or any other institution. It is something people used to call charity begins at home. It is something you learn from your mom. It is something you learn from your dad. It is something you learn from your environment. It is something you learn from people around you. How active are you with your parents before you think of going to get married? Are you like a daughter that is taking care of a daughter? You're supposed to still be under your mom, and you say you still want to be teaching a daughter, because you're still supposed to be under your mom, and you too, you are preparing to get married. Have you acquired all the necessary things that will make you a good wife before you think of getting married? Have you acquired the best knowledge to rearing a kid, to make your husband feel so comfortable with you, to make your husband so much in love with you before you think you want to go to marry? If you haven't acquired all this, how do you think you are going to succeed in your marriage? You are not going to. If you haven't acquired all this education from your parents, if you haven't learned all this from your parents, how are you going to be a good woman? How are you going to be a good wife? How are you going to be a good mother? So, before we can talk about, we are talking about family household. How are you going to hold your family in peace? How are you going to make peace in your family? When we're talking about the family and household, how are you going to make your family a good household? That's the first one. When we are talking about the family, that is taking care of maybe for your upbringing children, managing household tasks, and maintaining family relationship. This includes tasks such as cooking, cleaning, laundry, childcare, and organizing family events. That is what it's including to make a good family household. When we are talking about the education and career, women have to make a significant stride in education. That means either your family education or tertiary education. You have to make sure you are functioning very well in it before you can think of being a mother or being a wife. A woman without career, a woman without good education background, how is it going to be a teacher for your children? How are you going to make your children to have a good choice of their life? That means once you score 0, how are you going to make your child score 100? That means you have to take your own education and career very, very important. That's the second point. Then when you're talking about, that education and career, it's not that you have to acquire the most education in the life, or I have to be doctor, I have to be professor, I have to be this, I have to be that. No, just make sure you have a good career educationally. Just make sure you have something that you can inculcate in your kids as your knowledge, a good knowledge that you too can teach your kids. Yeah, this can include dating, courtship, marriage, and raising a family. Because without education, how will you know about dating, courtship, marriage? There's a lot of books that you need to read about dating, about courtship, about marriage before you too can think of, yes, I am ready to marry. Women may take an responsibility such as nurturing emotional connection, providing support, and balancing in needs of their partner and children. That is when you are educated. If you are not educated, you cannot know how to make a emotional connection. You cannot know how to providing a support or balancing the needs of their partner and the children. Then, when we are talking about the community and society, women actively participate in community and society activity, including volunteering activities. When you are not having without this community and social engagement, that means when you are very social, you're familiar with some social things, maybe social life, it shouldn't be too much, but you have to be maybe a little, you need to acquire a little experience about the community and social engagement. Because too much of social engagement will give you problem in your marital life. Yeah, it will give you problem in your marital life. But how just to know a little that will make you, it will give you opportunity to contribute to a social life, to social as a whole, to cultural and politically working towards a positive change and promoting quality and justice. So that is the benefit of acquire a community and social engagement as a woman. Then health and wellness. In women need to learn about what they call health and wellness, because if you are not as you are going to be like a doctor to your kids, to your husband, to your family, you are going to be like a nurse to your kids, to your family. And if you, because of work, and you make yourself deficiency in doing your house duty, that is how some men end up in looking for second wife. That is why some men end up looking for third wife, because you cannot do everything as they expected it, in which you have to at least try your best and do your best to make sure they didn't complain about everything in the house. You as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a doctor, as a counselor, as a guardian, if this is too much for you, you have to make sure you limit your work. Husbands have the right to provide for wife and kids. That is àrìjálù ala qawahimun an-nisa. Ọkùnrin lọ́lọ́run ní pé kó máa tọ́jú obìnrin, kó máa ṣe gbogbo àjẹ àmú nínú ilé fún ọkùnrin, fún obìnrin, fún ọmọ. Obìnrin ò wá gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé torí pé òun ṣiṣẹ́, wàhálà òun ti pọ̀ jù, òun lòun ṣiṣẹ́, òun lòun ṣe gbá kó tún wá délé kó tún máa ṣe báyìí. If that is in case, you have to live one for one. You have to limit your work. Have your own shop. Whatever you said till 4 o'clock, leave it, go home and prepare everything. Look after your kids, because your kids are your tomorrow. Tó bá torí iṣẹ́ tó fi ń pa tọmọ lára, tó tọ́jú ọkọ, tó tọ́jú ọmọ, your tomorrow is very, very bad. Ọlọ́run ọba kò ní jẹ́ kí a sọ àwọn ọmọ tá a bínú, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ ká sọ ọkọ nù. Ìdí tó fà á tí single parent, single mother tó fi pọ̀ ń ta náà ni pé duty wa sọ́kọ wa a ṣe dáadáa. Tó bá yẹ pé à ń ṣe duty wa sọ́kọ wa dáadáa ni, tá à ń gbìyànjú ara wa, táwa náà ń ṣe ní tá a fẹ́, tá a ṣe dáadáa, àwọn ọkọ wa ò ní padà yàyàkuyà náà. Wọn ò ní padà yàyàkuyà. Eléyìí náà ni ó jẹ́ káwa náà ṣe kíni, ká lè rí ọkọ gidi, ká lè rí aya gidi. Kọ́lọ́run kó ṣàánú ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan wa. Gbogbo tí a rí wí lónìí, Ọlọ́run àkúlù kọ́lá astaghfir, tó bá jẹ́ ṣẹ́ńbẹ̀ kọ́lọ́run dáríjì wa. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati